Hey everyone, welcome to Nerds Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
And today we got a special video for you. We're going to be discussing just a bunch of the news topics that have kind of come out over the last couple of weeks. We kind of have been doing some new things on the channel, trying to test the waters out, and we'd actually like to hear your feedback, so feel free to shoot us an email at nerdstalkinfo@gmail.com. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like, what formats you'd like us to do more of. But with that being said, we kind of wanted to kind of go over the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot of stuff that's kind of been going on. Stuff like Spider-Man and Disney deals, new video game information, Comic-Con, Triple Force Friday, a whole bunch of stuff. So we thought we'd kind of run down what's been going on and our thoughts on the matter, just for our viewers. I'm sure you're interested to know what we thought on the said subjects. So with that being said, let's get into it.
Awesome.
So I guess we'll start with Triple Force Friday. So that was a big event that happened just recently. It's pretty much about all the new toys and collectibles and things, right? Like that's what it's focused on.
Yeah. So all the new Legos are released, all the new figures, the Black Series, the other 3.75-inch figures, all those guys. So the new movies, and then they throw out some vintage ones and old characters as well.
A lot of Funko Pops.
a lot of those.
Yeah. So we have I'm not going to go through every single toy that was released, but there was one that was in particular I thought was very interesting. So again, just giving you the little tidbits of information that we thought was really good stuff to know. Now again, I'm just going to put a quick spoilers. If you don't want to know anything about the upcoming Rise of Skywalker movie, I would skip past this part. I'll leave some timestamps in the video below. But there are some spoilers with the new toy. It kind of relates to the trailer, and we'll kind of give you our speculation and our thoughts on that. So they had interviewed different people. They had interviewed Anthony Daniels and Billy Dee Williams and Daisy Ridley and so many people from the film. And as they did that, they were showcasing what toys were coming out on Triple Force Friday for these particular actors and what their characters would look like in various, like you said, Lego, Funko Pop, Black Series, etc.
Yeah.
And this particular segment, they were showcasing the C-3PO toy. Now, if you haven't watched our live reaction, I'll post the link up here. But there was an interesting spot in the trailer where we saw C-3PO show up with red eyes.
Yeah.
And we were like, wait, is that like, were we seeing something, or is that legitimately like his eyes are red like a Sith, right? So we thought that was a very interesting point of the trailer. And this particular toy seems to kind of allude to some stuff. So without further ado, the toy does come with some interesting accessories and a new character. Now I'm going to go over very generally what that was. And then Chris is going to kind of give you a little bit more details, and then we'll talk about our theories here. So he comes equipped with Chewbacca's bowcaster and his bandolier, which right off the bat, the only time I've ever seen C-3PO wield a weapon is when his head was switched with a B-1 battle droid.
That's right.
And him using a gun. So he's definitely not programmed for fighting. So that combined with the red eyes kind of makes you think, oh, is he going evil? Is there something crazy going on? And he also comes with this new character, new from the movie, named Bobu Frick. Is this any connection to the red eyes? What do you think, Chris?
So, according to some research, he's a droid smith who works along Spice Runners from Kijimi, I believe it is, and can reprogram and modify virtually any droid.
So there we go. So
that right there kind of shows with, the weapons from Chewbacca and his holsters and stuff, and then this character coming with him in his pack.
They're definitely going to be somehow connected in this movie.
Exactly. So does the red eyes mean that now he's programmed to fight and that he's joining the cause?
Gets a weapon upgrade.
Helping the rebels to fight, the evil forces, or, does he turn them bad? I would suspect with Chewbacca's equipment that he's teaming up.
Yeah, he's giving him the ability to not be a coward, to actually like maybe a personality upgrade, being brave, kill mode, whatever it's going to be. And someone's going to get hurt, Chewbacca, someone's in danger, and he's going to grab the bowcaster, he's going to save the day, which would be so great. C-3PO being the comic relief, the punching bag, everyone wants him to shut up, always the annoyance to be like, he's going to save the day, would be such a great, awesome like thing. I would love personally. I'm sure there will be some fans who are like, that's an abomination, that's not 3PO, but I'm all for it. Let's change it up.
Same here. I think it would be great adding to his character. Anthony Daniels is a great actor, and I would love to see him be more involved in the series, especially for this finale. Yeah. He's been in every movie technically, in one form or another, and it would be great to see him turn this page.
Absolutely. And it's funny because Anthony Carboni, the host of the Star Wars show, when he was speaking to and showcasing the toys to Anthony Daniels, he's like, he has this bowcaster, and then right away Anthony Daniels turns to his castmates and says, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
So
That's
there's
right.
definitely a big thing going on here. So I'm
That's
really
right.
excited, if you couldn't tell already, for this movie, and can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest surprise, I thought. The other big thing that interested me anyway was with the Jedi Fallen Order game that's coming out November 15th, I believe.
Yeah.
So they have a special edition Xbox One X and S version that is a Jedi Fallen Order Xbox. And it comes with a really, really cool controller. I'll throw an image up for you right now. As you can see, it has the red emblem on it, black controller. It just looks great. And as a Star Wars fan, it's something that I would like to get. I don't have an Xbox One X, so there's the extra reason to get it.
Yeah.
It is an X, but with Xbox, potentially the new Xbox coming out next year. Well, not potentially, it is coming out next year. It makes me think, as much as I want to get a Star Wars version of an Xbox, why get an older console when I'm going to potentially get a new one?
Get a new one right away. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's too bad this didn't come out 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, I'd be all over that as well.
Yeah. So that was the biggest stuff that I like to talk about for Triple Force Friday. Anything you wanted to bring up?
No, it's just a lot of new Legos. They're trying not to spoil the Rise of Skywalker and throw out little bits that you already know. But I like that they also did the Mandalorian figures as well as the Fallen Jedi.
Yes, I love that
so
too.
They added the 3 for the Triple Force Friday.
And it makes sense because again, not only are all these stories and all these adventures canon, but these are all characters that are part of the Star Wars lore. And who knows if the character from the video game now jumps into a TV show or a movie.
Exactly.
We've seen characters jump from movies to shows or from shows to shows. So there's no reason why they can't go from a video game to a movie or a show. So
exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, so the next topic on the gamut will be this Spider-Man, Sony, and Disney deal.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So from our last video where we were talking about, I think it was our D23 video.
Yeah.
We discussed that there was unfortunately a breakup between Sony and MCU. They couldn't come to an agreement with future movie releases and who would be controlling how much money each company would make, and as such they kind of split up so that Spider-Man would no longer be in the MCU, and subsequently Sony wouldn't be able to make references to any of the MCU stuff in their Spider-Man series. So unfortunately that was some bad news, and we were pretty confident, I think, in our video that we had said that I'm sure they'll work it out at some point. Well, the good news is they have come to an agreement. This happened sometime in the past week, and it looks like I should say rumor has it that the reason for the split up was Disney wanted about 50% on every dollar from the profits of the movie and on the merchandising, which was the reason of the split. And obviously, Sony was like, no, that's too much. Sony, the original deal had Disney at 5% on every dollar. So obviously, at the success of the 2 Sony movies and the 3, I think it was, appearances.
Yeah, because he's in the 2 Avengers and then Civil War.
Correct. So 3 MCU appearances and then 2 Spider-Man appearances. Clearly, Disney and Kevin Feige have done a great job in making sure this character has not only made lots of money, made it relevant, made everything intertwine really well. So they are like, we want a bigger piece of the pie if we want to continue going forward. Yeah. And I think the way that they left Far From Home ending to set up a great potential for not just a next movie, but next the universe essentially. I think they kind of were like, okay, now you don't want to mess up this next movie.
Yeah.
You need us. Yeah. So they try to get a little more money than perhaps was.
You've had 2 attempts at it already. Haven't done a good job, and now it's finally taken off. Yeah. When we were talking about a D23 review, we saw that Tom Holland, kind of made a comment about it, and was really disappointed that this wasn't working out. Excuse me. And then the rumor is that he actually called the CEO of Disney,
Bob Iger,
and talked to him and said, we got to get this figured out. And then the CEO called the CEO of Sony, and said, listen, we got to get this figured out. The fans want it. Tom wants it. They all mean a lot to us. And then that's how they kind of jammed out a deal.
Kind of figured it out, which I believe, and again, this is not, we weren't able to find it posted on any specific websites. However, due to our research and our internal sources, we were able to get what I would say as rumor and speculation that the final deal is that they'll be getting about 25% on every dollar, so half of what Disney initially was requesting on each dollar profit made for the movie, and on all the merchandise, all the toys and all the comics and all that kind of stuff that's going to be coming out because of that. And the deal is, as of right now, one Sony movie, so basically Spider-Man 3, and an MCU movie, or MCU
Team up, kind of
team
like,
up.
yeah, like a new Avengers or Young Avengers.
Yeah,
or
an appearance in an
whatever
MCU
it may
movie.
be. Yeah.
And that's it. Now, that's not the end of the deal. The deal is saying that's it for now. Things can obviously change. It's open-ended in the sense of, depending on how things go, more movies to follow. So that's great news for us. Spider-Man will be back, and I'm sure, we definitely don't want to see him go. So that's great news. Any other thoughts on the deal?
No, I think it's a win-win. I mean, Disney gets 25%, which is much more than the 5% they were making before. And they get to make the full profit of whatever movie they decide to bring him in for their own MCU universe. Yeah. So, and then they get the merchandise, which is going to sell great and everything. And he's a huge character for them. So I think this will, kind of build their partnership, and then they can go on from there.
Absolutely. And I think that ultimately they deserve more money from what they started with. They kind of like, okay, we'll take the 5% because we just want Spider-Man. Like whatever deal, 5, we just want him.
We need him in our universe.
They've proven that they can do him well. They built this universe with him. I'm not going to say around him, but he's definitely a focal point with his relationship with Tony and everything.
He's like the next Iron Man.
Yeah, and they lived up to the contract. They did the movies that they were set out to do. Why not give them more money? I think they've proved their worth. They've definitely treated the property with respect. I mean, they do own Marvel. Just because Sony owns Spider-Man, technically it is a Marvel property. So by all means, I think that this is worth it. I think Disney deserves a raise. Not that they need the money, but I think it's great for everyone that's in part of it.
I agree.
Yeah. The next piece of news is New York Comic Con. So there's not as much information that we would like to discuss, but there's a couple of things we'd like to talk about. So we'll start off with the Avengers video game, which comes out next. Is it March or April?
It's May 2020. May 15th, 2020.
That sounds right. So, so we know that based on the E3 footage, you'll be able to partake in playing with the various heroes: Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Black Widow. Would all be playable in seemingly the same mission or different parts of the same mission. You switch roles and you get to play with the different play styles. Looked great, but when we did see the trailer, we had made comment that there was a little girl that was taking pictures, and we're like, oh, she looks familiar, she looks like she could be someone. Well, it turns out that they've announced at New York Comic Con that is true. The main protagonist, which is the little girl, is in fact Kamala Khan, or Ms. Marvel, to you Marvel fans out there. So she will be playable, and she is the main protagonist. So does that mean you'll be playing her most prominently in the game? We're not sure. There was a trailer and some gameplay.
So they had some gameplay footage, and it was pretty much just you playing as Miss Marvel and going through, stealing some technology from AIM. Yep. And then so I'm kind of disappointed if they go this way. She's not the most exciting character in my opinion. I was kind of hoping you could play, different levels and different characters, which I'm still hoping they do. But right now, it looks like it's going to be, you're playing Miss Marvel for the most part.
From her perspective.
And maybe at the beginning you play all the Avengers, and maybe at the end you're supposed to reassemble them, I guess. And maybe at the end you'll be able to play as them as well. But I hope it's not the bookends for it.
I hope so as well. So Kamala Khan in the cartoon series that I've watched is a great character. It's very, very funny. It drops a great spotlight on Pakistani female hero. Great, again with Disney trying to mix up the what's the word I'm looking for with
diversity.
The movies, diversity. So why not have a diverse role of characters? There is tons of superheroes, tons of different people, female and male and alien alike. So great having not another white guy or white female. By all means, like no knock against Ms. Marvel, it sounds great, but if you look at her from a powers perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, fans, but she reminds me very much of Mr. Fantastic. She can embiggen, she can stretch, she can adjust her size of her hands and her legs and stuff like that, which is great. She is an Inhuman. We know that part of the story. At least that's how it was presented in the cartoons. But I don't know. Even when I play Fantastic Four games, I'd much rather play as the Thing or Human Torch than Mr. Fantastic, and that's just me. So. Let us know what you think. Are you more excited to play as Ms. Marvel, or are you hoping that it's just another character of, maybe 15 characters that you get to play throughout the adventure of the game? So that'll be
ideal.
Yeah, this would be ideal. And then there was a bunch of information surrounding some Star Wars books and comics. Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple of them here. And the biggest one that I was most interested in was Project Luminous.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting new project, and it was introduced in a very funny way. I don't know if it was the author, but what's his name here? Project Luminous. Okay, so it looks like Charles Sewell, Kevin Scott, Jose Older, Justina Ireland, Claudia Gray. These are our 5 all-star authors that are going to be partaking in this new project. The way it was introduced was this particular slogan had come up on the screen. Star Wars font, opening crawl, yellow letters, stars and everything like that. It reads, "The Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things, ... until Project Luminous 2020. So this is a quote from the movie where Obi-Wan is talking about, the Force and how it binds all the living things, how it's connected to everything, and even Yoda makes mention of it.
Yeah.
And they're kind of saying, that's how it's been, you can't choose to be a Jedi. You're either born with it, you have the midichlorians, you have this connection, and it is what it is. But it seems like this Project Luminous is this, what I would think to be some sort of experiment of trying to infuse people or beings with Force power for whether it's good or evil intentions. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the only thing that I can think of that, one, gets me really excited, and 2, would make sense kind of how you would lead into this with, this is how it used to be until this is the future.
Yeah. I have no idea what they're going to do with that, and they left it so open-ended.
Yes.
And everything's coming out in 2020. I
Yeah.
can't wait for it. But yeah, I would agree with your thought of how they're trying to, infuse it into someone, force it, try and get the, maybe upper hand or equal footing as a Jedi and have the same power and go force a Force rather than being a Sith.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, like, look, so Disney owns Marvel, and Marvel in a lot of these new books and comic projects that I'm going to be talking about, Marvel is joint in a lot of these with Disney, with
even this one,
with Lucasfilm and all that kind of stuff. So in this particular project, Marvel's logo slapped on there along with
IDW,
Lucasfilm, Del Rey,
which is their
IDW.
novel,
yeah. So with that being said, Marvel does things like X-Men and the Cure and infusing people, and all these kind of things have been done. Try and travel multiple dimensions, all this kind of stuff. None of this stuff has really been done in Star Wars.
Yeah.
There was some slight time travel stuff in one of the TV shows. Spoilers, if you don't want to know what TV show that was, I'll give you 3 seconds to click off. But that was showcased in Star Wars Rebels. So there was some slight time travel stuff, but again, it was connected to the Force, and it's not something that anyone can just utilize. But we also know that with the Force, there is some sort of seeing Yoda has the ability to sometimes kind of see the future. Sometimes it's cloudy. It's not always exactly as he sees it. As he says, forever changing. The future is, and stuff like that, right? So.
Right.
So with that being said, there's a lot of possibilities. I'm excited. I've said this before. I really, really want them to change. I mean, I love Star Wars, but I want to see them kind of go crazy with it. Let's go off the books. Old Republic, still to this day, is one of my favorite timepieces in terms of they didn't have any rules to follow. Didn't have any cookie cutter these characters have to connect somehow. It was its own story. It'll connect 10,000 years down the road. We won't worry about that. But this is where we are today, and it just was great.
Yeah,
all new characters. Everything worked. It felt Star Wars, and it was amazing. Darth Bane trilogy, same thing. Loved it. Thought those books were great. Again, far in the past is in effect. So if they decide to jump forward, and this is Skywalker saga is done, let's go 10,000 years in the future. This is where we've come to. Great. Let's go nuts. Let's see what the Force can do. Let's see what the Jedi can do. Are they still around? Is there some new creatures or race or something? Let's do it. I'm all for it.
I think after the Star Wars or the Skywalker saga is done, they should go wild, because honestly, it's Death Star. Now it's a bigger Death Star. It's cookie cutter, same old. Oh, are they brother sister? Are they twins? Are they father son? Like some sort of family relation? Are they good, bad, turn good? So it seems to be the same storyline that they're kind of changing bit by bit. But if they can totally change the narrative and storyline and just go nuts, but still have it, canon and connect somehow, I think they, like Marvel, they're going out of the box a little bit and changing characters and races and sex and stuff like that, but it's still Marvel and somewhat canon and stuff like that. It makes sense. So I can't wait to see what they do.
Absolutely. And again, that leaves it open. So we know that Rian Johnson has a trilogy in the works, and we know that the next 3 movies that are coming out in 2021, 2023, and 2025 in between the Avatar movies,
Correct.
is the Game of Thrones director's movies projects.
Yeah.
So rumor is that that's going to be Old Republic stuff, but Ryan Johnson's may not be. It might be far future. It might be whatever. So like let's go nuts. Let's explore what we can do in this vast galaxy that is, you know, so big and expansive. I'm sure there's areas that have not been discovered. Let's delve into that and see what's going on.
Definitely.
Okay, what else did they announce? Clone Wars Anthology. We don't know if this is going to be based on the show, because we know that the final season comes out in February.
Yep.
Or if it's going to be just new adventures during that time period. I wouldn't mind an anthology based on the show, kind of summing up everything and maybe adding in some extra stories in there. But it'd be great to kind of have one complete package.
It'd be nice to read. I always like, you know, some of the books have little extra bits that they, you know, couldn't fit in the movie or cut out or whatnot, so they could fit it all in a novel or a comic, or, you know, fill in the gaps of what's missing. So I really hope that they kind of make that into that.
And they already have novelizations of the original movies anyway.
Correct.
So each episode movie has a novel, so there's no reason why they can't do it for the TV shows. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
They talked about Star Wars Dark Legends. So all we have here is a logo, Star Wars Dark Legends. And I'll put the picture here for you to see. But it basically is, you know, a logo in red. Looks like a diamond. It says Dark Legends. There's nothing on there. It has, you know, written by George Mann and illustrated by Grant Griffin. No other details. No logos. Marvel's involved. Who's involved? We just know it's Star Wars Dark Legends. What could this be? Could this be Legends of the Past? Darth Bane stuff?
Yeah.
Could this be just dark or evil legends? Is this Sith-based material? Stuff focusing on the dark side for a change. That'd be pretty interesting, wherever that takes place in the timeline. So I'm intrigued. I'm interested in that too.
Yeah, I always like to see, they don't show as much history. They drop little lines about the history of the Sith and, you know, how it was created, the rule of two and all that stuff.
Yep.
But they haven't really gone through all of the legends that they, you know, follow and you know, love.
Yep.
So it'd be nice to see that backstory and all those.
Any chance you think this could be Star Wars' version of the What If? Dark Legends. So then it's not the true canon. Here's a twisted, you know, what if Luke turned to the dark side and killed Darth Vader and joined the Emperor? What if, you know, could it be Dark Legends?
Yeah,
it could be,
and
I'd be all for that too.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I always love those what ifs because they can legitly go wild like we want them to.
Yeah, like what if this person died and didn't, or this person survived instead, or whatever? What would happen? What do you think would happen?
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But they've left it so open.
Oh,
they've literally given you nothing except for the title.
Yeah, and I don't even see a date.
No date,
So, you know, let us know in the comments below if you got any information regarding a date for that or any other information, but we just got the title there. And then there's a Rise of Kylo Ren. I don't know if it's a book or comic series, but the artwork looks phenomenal. It's basically, again, I'll put the picture here, an image of his face, half of it being light side of when he was training under Master Jedi Luke.
Yeah.
And then his dark side version that we know from the movie. So it looks pretty interesting. I'm very, very interested to kind of fill in that back, the plot, well, not really a plot hole, but the stuff that was missing from the movie. We kind of got a glimpse of two perspectives of a singular event.
Yeah.
But how did he form the Knights of Ren? Why were they good friends? Why did they have this, you know,
exactly. How was his childhood growing up so that he hates his parents
so
much? Like, where did that hate come from?
Why did he supposedly start turning to the dark side? What came across that? Did he discover the hole that Rey found?
How did Snoke find him? You know, what was that relationship? Yeah. Was it similar to Anakin and Palpatine? You know, there's a lot of holes that we only find out when he's already turned to the dark side and it's Kylo Ren. Most of the time, these are comics, and they fill in the gaps between the you know, anime series or films and stuff like that. Yep. So I'm very intrigued to see that as well. It looks very, very interesting.
Absolutely. And then the second piece of artwork looks great with Kylo Ren as Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And he's there with, as you can see, Darth Vader's mask behind him. It just looks great. It just, I'm so
the artwork's fantastic.
Can't go wrong. And then the last bit of, I guess, literature information that we got that has artwork is this Shadowfall Alphabet Squadron. Do you know any information on Alphabet Squadron?
I don't know. I was in chapters recently, Indigo, and saw Alphabet Squadron, the novel. So they do have a first one. It looks like this is the second part, or
it just says Shadowfall. There's no number near it, but
so they have Alphabet Squadron, and Marvel's in it, and Del Rey. So they co-produce this series, and that's really all I know about it so far.
Awesome. So again, more stuff that people who are into the ships and the the pilots and that kind of side of Star Wars. It looks like an interesting story there for you guys. And then they talked about a Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy. So it looks like it could be potentially a new trilogy, done by the original author, Timothy Zahn, who did the original trilogy back in the day, which is now known as Legends. He also redid the Thrawn book, which I'm actually in the middle of reading right now. And I believe you said there was a couple other books.
So he wrote Alliances and Exile, or... There's another one, Alliance, and another book. So there is a new trilogy.
So while you're looking that up, So Thrawn's a great character, and the fact that they're keeping the original author is very, very smart. Let's maybe this new trilogy is a rewriting of the original Legend stuff to bring it back into canon, which would be great. I loved the character as was shown in other medium. Again, if you don't want to be spoiled for a TV show, please don't listen to the next 2 minutes, but he shows up in Star Wars Rebels as well. Yeah. So great character. I thought it was just awesome. Let's do more of that. Let's do more of the other side of the Empire. There are a lot of other leaders and commanders out there, different projects going on. A lot of people compare the Empire to like the Nazis in the sense that they're trying to rule everyone and everyone. It's I guess imagery in the sense that all the stormtroopers look alike in their uniform and that kind of stuff. But I just thought that even with that information, it's still, the Empire is vast. They did a lot of like crazy secret projects and experiments and stuff like that. So it'd be great to like kind of delve into kind of what else is kind of going on.
Yeah. So the original is Thrawn Alliances and Thrawn Treason.
Okay.
So that's the trilogy that they currently have out. The last one just came out in 2019.
Perfect.
So just a couple months ago. So it'd be interesting to see if this is a second trilogy that they're...
It says Ascendancy trilogy, and I don't think those mention anything about Ascendancy, so I think it's a new trilogy. So that's great. So that was it for the book stuff. Obviously, a novelization of Rise of Skywalker will be coming out as well. But the last bit of information that I had come across while getting this news information together was a brand new trailer just came up that was announced this weekend for New York Comic Con. A new VR experience. Now, there is one that's already out with Star Wars, which I've been told by people who have done it is phenomenal, and I can't wait for myself to try this as well. I believe it's called The Secret Empire. Secrets of the Empire. But they just announced, and there's a trailer on YouTube right now of a new Marvel Avengers experience called Damage Control. And the trailer looks phenomenal, and it looks great. And just the ideas that are in this trailer, we basically got a Black Panther Iron Man.
Yeah, so during the trailer, it's like a close-up of, the armor of Black Panther kind of, transforming and activating.
Like you see that material and the lights.
Play as Black Panther? Is this like a new episode of that you're playing live?
You hear Shuri talking about new suit and new technology.
Yes, yeah. So they actually have the actress as well that you realize.
Yes.
They show her talking about it as well. And then they zoom out, and it's Iron Man.
It's Iron Man
with
suit.
the Black Panther.
Two suits. You have the yellowish version, which Killmonger wore in the Black Panther movie, and then you have the bluish purplish version that
Black Panther wore.
Yeah, T'Challa wore.
But yeah, so it's Black Panther Iron Man armor, which is fantastic.
Awesome. They even have like the little ears kind of come. Oh, it's just like, it looks so great, man.
Yeah, so that is going to be amazing. I know a lot of places that have the Void. They're playing that. So they're playing the Star Wars one. They're playing the Avengers Damage Control. So you'll be able to visit, if you have it, hopefully in your area. Us being close to, GTA area, there's one across from the Sky Dome at the Rec Room, which locals can check out. But it looks amazing from the preview that they showed. And I personally did one at the Rec Room for the Ghostbusters.
Nice.
So they strap you with this backpack, which has, the pretty much just a computer on you, and then the VR headset that comes down, and then for the Ghostbusters they gave you a gun, and it felt so real. You could smell the burnt marshmallow when you're zapping the Marshmallow Man. You could get like hot flashes when there's fire. At one point you're on this like ledge, and you can feel the building kind of shake, and you can look down, and it's just terrifying if you're afraid of heights. But it's just the whole experience just feels so real and so amazing, and the smells and the feels and the wind and the water and the spray, you feel everything. So it's so lifelike.
Yeah, and that's the experience you want when you're doing VR. It's one thing to be like, okay, I feel like I'm there, but when you have the other senses being part of the experience, like your touch, so you're feeling wetness or heat, and then you have the smells,
sensories,
that just makes your mind that much more believing that you're actually there, which is an experience that I want to.
It feels like you're walking through a 100-foot building, but you're probably in a 10 by 10 room. You know, they have, you know, the typical loading area where it resets you, where if you're going up an elevator, and so you're in the corner, now you're going back into the same room, just it looks different. So it utilizes this room smartly, but it feels like you're all over the place, going up, you know, size and different areas. So it feels like you're covering a lot of area, but you're probably in a 10 by 10 room max. So it's fantastic.
That's awesome. That's smart design.
Yeah. I want one in my rec room.
So I mean, those are our thoughts on kind of what was announced, what we're excited for, the different toys, the video games, the VR experiences, books and whatnot. A lot of cool things kind of happening. Again, we're very happy Disney and Sony worked it out.
Yes,
we're happy with a lot what the future has to hold. 2020 is very promising. Not only do we have a strong end to 2019 with Star Wars and Mandalorian and you know, Disney Plus launching and
all the games,
everything that's coming out. But 2020 seems to be setting up from a Marvel perspective really big. Between the TV shows and the movies, you have, is it 5 or 6 next year?
5, I believe.
Yep. And then we have Star Wars TV shows like Clone Wars coming in there, and man, it's just great. It's just a great time.
Very exciting.
Great time to be a nerd. So thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to support us, please subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear from you. Please shoot us an email at nerdstalkinfo@gmail.com. As always, leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of this video. Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. And as always, friends, stay nerdy.